Hey there, I'm Heidi Hooper, the dryer lint artist. Yeah, look it up, you'll see. I'm a wacko dryer lint artist. Okay, I also have stage 4 lymphedema, which is difficult to deal with. Anybody who's ever told you they've got lymphedema, stage 4 is very hard. There's a new operation where it's a lymph node transplant, and I'm going to be having that tomorrow morning. And what I'm going to do here is I'm doing a step-by-step, day-by-day, what it's actually like going through this process, because I couldn't find anything online when I was looking to see whether I even wanted to do this or not. Because the promises are like way bigger than you think is gonna be possible. So this is day 1. I had a good dinner last night, a good dinner tonight, so I'm ready for surgery at 7 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. Hi, when I first got the cancer on my right arm, which caused me to have the lymphedema to begin with, basically the arm liquefied from so much radiation, and that's the only way they stop the cancer. So we have a very complicated process. Most people are not going to have to go through as much as me. So that's giving you a little bit of a heads up. I have a slice through my chest about 4 inches, and then a big slice on the arm here where they put the tissue inside my arm, and then they have to monitor it constantly to make sure that you can hear blood flowing. And then that's about it so far for now. Okay, day 3 of the lymphedema transplant. Okay, as you can see, this looks rough. It's a lot rougher underneath. And what they do for a lymphedema transplant is there's a film that is around your organs. And they have discovered that it has regenerative properties. So what they did is they sliced me open about a good 4 inches on my chest. They pulled out that stuff off my stomach, and then they laid it down, kind of like stuffing a turkey, inside my arm. And so that's part of what the poof is here, is, for lack of a better way of saying, it's sticking out. They had to leave a surgical space open for, just like when you have a brain and they have to open up your brain a little bit because you had an accident. And there you go. It's basically the same principle. Okay, this next bit that I'm going to be doing, showing you, if you close your eyes and skip it, just skip it. But I feel you should know exactly what it looks like. What you're about to see is very graphic, but there is no pain. I do not feel any pain in the arm, okay? But I figured for honesty of what was transpiring, I should do this. Now, admittedly, anybody getting this operation is not going to have as severely as I did, because I had so much radiation in my arm that the arm liquefied, and that's how the cancer stopped. So therefore, I'm an extreme end of the spectrum as far as like this type of surgery goes. But here you go. I'm going to scan it over, and I'm going to do it slow, so if it's too much for somebody, they can look away. But there it is. Now that bulbous thing is the material that they put in my arm, and they had to leave it open a little bit because I really just don't have the connections for them to be able to do it otherwise. But there's that, and then, like I said, it's not painful at all. So I'm sorry, just doing it for honesty. Hey there. Okay, this is day 4 now with this operation stuff. I don't have a girdle anymore. I have just this stitches, which is really, it hurts when I cough. It's almost like having a bruised rib or something, that kind of hurt with a cough. And I'm going to show you how much this does not hurt. This is where the pain is. I can literally push this because it's spongy back in the arm, and see, no reaction from me whatsoever. No finger twinge because of pain, no. My face is fine, see? I'm pushing hard. No face signs. Okay. So that you possibly have to look forward to. My operation is more extensive than 90% of the people out there are going to get. So, there. Okay, so here is day 4 still. I'm now getting ready to leave the hospital. I'm dressed, obviously. And you can see they bandaged up the arm. And they said it's perfectly natural to get leaks for a couple of days afterwards. I'm going to have this on for a couple of days. And then the arm is exposed after that, like a regular arm with stitches. Okay, this is day 6 after being out of the hospital. There's what the stitches look like on the stomach. There's the stitching on the arm. Okay, and the arm does not hurt. And normally, this would be so swollen. If I'd have gone 6 days without using the bag, normally, this arm would be so big I couldn't move my fingers. It would be like it's attached to somebody who's 500 pounds instead of 130 pounds. So that's already a change, showing that this is a successful transplant. And damn it, I guess the miracles that they say it does, it really does. I just don't put a lot of weight in miracles, you know. But yeah, it's, other than me aggravating it this morning, it looks like this is going to be all new territory here. And it's, like I said, the stomach is the only thing that hurts, and that's just because anytime you do anything, it pulls on stomach muscles. So, okay, so I did some artwork today, and as you can see, it's a little extra poofy than what it was. Sorry, doctors. I'm only just a few hours away from finishing this piece, and I have a big solo show, and I'm sorry, but I will suffer through the pain or whatever, however bad the arm swells up. I'm going to get the piece done for the show. And I found in my old stuff, because they kept doing gauze wraps, and the doctor said he didn't want gauze wraps after whatever, so he wanted to breathe. So I have an old cheesecloth kind of thing from back when you're lymphedema and you go to travel on an airplane because of the air pressure, blah blah blah. They wrap you up like you're a mummy, and this is one of the things that goes over the mummy wrap so that they could do another type of wrap over top of the mummy wrap. So I got lucky I had this on hand, and that's how I'm going to be sleeping from here on out, because that way, if anything, the cat's claws will catch on it rather than catching on my stitches. And that's been it. Okay, day 8 of a lymphedema transplant. The reason my hand has been acting funny while I've been doing these videos, I figured I probably should let you know. It's nothing related to the operation. I had a hand injury 2 years ago, and they're still trying to get things to wake up and make it function. And this process is actually supposed to help. Now you can see the arm looks a little more swollen today than it was, because I was bad and I did artwork, because I have to get that art piece done in time for the show, which I did. I got it all done. It's ready to roll. But you can see it made this expand. So now I'm going to do what the doctor wants you to do, which is don't use it and leave it straight, flat. And the whole point is so it drains and it doesn't do a buildup like you see me have a buildup right here in this area. So don't do what I did. Listen to the doctors. Okay, day 9. This contraption here they gave me for sleeping and basically trying to keep my arm straight for most of the time that I'm here at the house. And this is not tight, as you can see. It's not tight. And I just did that so that I'm not having to try and find it in the dark at 3 a.m. when I have to go pee. Otherwise, the hospital had already shaped it to my arm, and it keeps it perfectly straight. Some of the swelling has gone down now here. The big surprise today was I got to go to the bathroom like a regular person instead of shooting nunchucks out my ass. So that was a really wonderful relief. I can now poop like a normal person instead of scream at the top of my lungs and scare everybody in the house. So there's that end of it. Let's see, what else is new today? Electrical shocks. every day, other than that, I'm fine. Okay, since I got back from the hospital, thank you for the nice premise. Um, I have not been 5 minutes without a cat on me. They take turns and they have to lay on me. Thank God my stitches are here instead of down there. But yeah. Okay, when it comes to eating, when I was in the hospital, I only ate little bits at a time because I was so bloated, constipated, I couldn't go. I mean, I just couldn't eat much. Um, and then when I got home, okay, my bowels started to move. I got hungry last night and I was like, you know what? I bet I can eat all this. It tastes so good. I'm going to eat it all. Don't do that. Just eat until you're comfortable and then stop. Because if you eat a full meal until you're stuffed, your stomach is killer hurting for the next day, until that stuff gets out of your system. Sorry. Okay, now is day 11, I believe. And this is the sling thing they gave me from the hospital that, I mentioned before. And they bent it to match my arm and all that jazz. But this part in the middle, because I've been in it for like X many days now, is really getting like hard, and it's like somebody nails clawing into my elbow. So I got some old gauzy kind of stuff and I put that out my elbow, and then I put the sleeve on top of that, and then this thing's fine. So that's the only change I've done today. As far as stuff I'm doing, you can see areas where the thing has opened up a little bit. He said it would do it, and it has, but I mean, the amount of blood that is like, that's hardly enough to be concerned about. So I'm still just blown away. My head is in the ozones because by now this would be as big as my thigh. And it's the size it normally is. So, guys, I don't know what to say. Hey there. There's another day. I'm not always in bed. I'm up for about 15, 20 minutes, and then I lay down for like 45 minutes, to a half an hour or something. I'm slowly trying to get my energy up because the operation just wiped the hell out of me. Um, but so I'm doing little projects on the side, which I probably shouldn't be, but I can't stand just watching TV all day. Drives me crazy. Hey there. Okay. My stitches will come out in about 4 days, somewhere around there. Um, and this is how it looks at 4 days before you get the stitches out. Still a little pink, which kind of makes me a little nervous. But last night and yesterday, actually today too, somewhat, I felt like a human being instead of like a sick ball in the bed. Um, Although I'm spending a lot of time out of the bed, as you've seen by projects I've shown you. Um, and I went out to dinner last night and I was like a real person. Um, so there's that to look forward to. This stuff goes really fast. I was expecting a whole lot longer rehab than this. Um, but yeah, there's that. And the stomach, that's how the stomach looks. It's almost completely healed now. So that's good news for today. Okay, now I'm going to re-say this, though I'm sure I said it in some of the earlier videos, but I'm going to say it again. Dr. Walczek at Fox Chase is the one who did the operation for me, and he's a really wonderful doctor. Um, Now, on top of while I was getting this operation done and all this other jazz, I actually had a solo show. Somebody called me and said they wanted to give me a solo show. It's Stroudsmore, the resort. And so I have an opening next Friday. I mean, like 7 days from now. So I've had that in the back of my head the whole time this is going on. So I've been very stressed, needless to say, because I didn't know if I was going to even make my opening. But this is, yeah, I'm going to make the opening. Okay, this time I'm going to tell you about different things that are happening. One, when things start to heal, You get electrical charges, and they're like an electrical shock, and sometimes they last like a few seconds, and sometimes they last minutes. And I'm getting those now. I'm getting some in the stomach, and I'm getting some in the arm. Fingers of all places. I'm getting it in my fingers, which is weird because I expected it more in the arm than in the fingers, but it's in the fingers. Also, this is not tender here, but this from here going like this spans and up to this side of the stitches is like ouchy to the touch. But it doesn't really hurt otherwise. It's just if it touches something, then it hurts. So there is that. And that's all I have for today. Okay, it's now been 2 weeks since I had my operation. This morning was the first time in cleaning the litter box that I didn't feel like a bear was squeezing my chest and breaking my ribs. All I felt like is a comfortable hug, which was really nice. Today, I just got finished getting my stitches out. They only took half out because, like I had said before, this was kind of pink and I was concerned. Yeah, because it was pink, he didn't remove those right there just to keep it in line. And the stomach looks like that now. And then, so it's doing pretty good. And it's raining out, and I'm not feeling like shit. Earlier this week, it had thunderstorms for 2 days. I was not in a ball. I've been in a ball for over 20 years whenever that happened. Okay, it's Sunday. The last video was around Wednesday, I believe. Friday night was my solo show, which I kind of somewhat was dreading because I didn't know what my health was going to be like. But 2 days before, Thursday morning, basically, I woke up with practically no pain. Then it came the time for the opening, and I had no pain. The equivalent of like a bad itch, and that's it, which is compared to being crumpled in a ball since '99, that's nothing. And now it's Sunday, and I still have no pain. I don't know what to do with myself, to be honest. I'm so used to gauging my day to where everything goes much slower, like I'm walking through water, in order to keep my pain level down. And I don't have that to worry about now. So I'm like, what do I do? So I've been sorting lint all day and having a blast. Okay, somebody was asking me about medications, what I did up until this point. The doctor started me off on gabapentin, Oxycontin, oxycodone, and some other stuff. Went on it for years until basically they were going to raise me up to 925 4 times a day with the gabapentin and the other stuff. And people who knew me back then, I was very quiet because I had to walk around with Post-it notes because my brain lasted 5 minutes and then I didn't know where I was or what I was doing. That's how bad it got. So I started trying everything I could find. I did acupuncture, all kinds of stuff. Anything I could get my hands on, I tried. Nothing was working. Then I talked and I got THC and my fucking brain came back. Sorry to curse like that, but that's how much it came back. So don't use that other shit. Use THC. Okay, when it became legal in Pennsylvania, when THC became legal in Pennsylvania, that's when I went to try Pennsylvania, with the doctor and all that jazz. And they put me on, I still had to get down off the gabapentin. Now, gabapentin, they tell you it is not addictive. It fucking is. Sorry, that's how much addictive it is. So I had to go less and less and less of the gabapentin in order to level off of the THC with my doctor. And there were a couple of times where I was like really happy and because the balance wasn't quite right. But once I got off the gabapentin, my brain was back, the pain levels were manageable, and I could communicate. I actually had a memory for more than 5 minutes. And I'm like a human being again as a result. Before, yeah,
So I'm Dr. Adam Walczak. I'm at the Fox Chase Cancer Center here with Heidi Hooper. It's a patient who was sent to us from Dr. Mo Larif, a former fellow of our institution here. I know him well and was very appreciative of seeing Heidi in the office. Heidi is a pretty complicated lymphedema patient who had a very significant backstory, prior surgeries from a tumor that she developed over 20 years ago and was developing long-standing lymphedema, which was managed extremely well non-operatively. And so when she came to see me, I was a bit hesitant to suggest surgical intervention because she looked really so good from an external standpoint. But from all of the discomfort and the subjective complaints that she was experiencing, we sort of hemmed and hawed over a period of a couple of years, because in the intervening months she sustained a fracture that she had to recover from of her humerus. But we ultimately got to the point where we did what's called a free tissue transfer of omentum, which is lymphoid tissue that lives on the inside of your abdomen, and that can be harvested in a free flat fashion. We remove it from the abdomen by preserving some of the blood supply, and we did a surgery where we implanted that or transplanted that into her forearm, which is where she was experiencing most of the discomfort. Heidi has done exceptionally well right away, and so I think this really speaks to the power of the body being able to heal itself if given the right conditions, and that's really all that we did here, was perform a transplantation of tissue that was healthy from another part of her body into a part that was lacking that sort of specialized lymphatic sponge, you can think of it to some degree. And so Heidi was really fascinating when she came to see me back for her first post-operative appointment, was able to tell me right away that things were getting better, because we have been having a lot of sort of midsummer storms in the Delaware Valley region here, and so a couple of thunderstorms have gone through, and those changes in barometric pressure patients can feel when you have issues like this, when you have issues like arthritis, where you get that expansion of some of these spaces on the inside. And Heidi said right away, that was gone. And so this is a wonderful, I think, example of a patient who was very committed to kind of finding the right provider. We were able to come up with the right operation for her and do it successfully. So I'm very excited to have Heidi back here for the final suture removal,
Yeah.
and we'll kind of go forward from here as needed.
I'm thrilled. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I suddenly have hours and hours I can do things with at home. And I don't know what to do with myself now. I got so used to like a rigid schedule. Every 3 hours I'm back in the bag, so I can only do this for this amount of time. And now I've got whole days. I can kiss you.
We'll settle for a hug.
Okay, I'll give you a hug.